Hi folks, Eric with Baileigh Industrial. We're going to discuss the PT-510. We're going to go over some of the basic controller options on here. So let's get to it. So we've done auto mode F1, manual mode F2, edit F3 when we loaded off our USB. Now we're going to do setup, which is F4. That's going to take us into some of the setup parameters for your cut quality, your time, your speeds, all that stuff. So the first one we're going to go into is F1, which is our speed. And this is probably going to be the main area that you will be making changes. On here you can see the origin speed that the machine is going to origin at. You can see the speed at which it's going to do the test at. You can see our max limit speed. And this is all in metric, in millimeters. If you scroll down using the arrow key here, you'll get into your arc speed. That is literally the speed at which you will be cutting. That is a number that you will change relative to the material that you're cutting. So now that we've talked about the speed settings at the controller, we're going to go off the height adjustment on the pierce itself. And what we're going to do here is we're going to adjust that. Now right now, if I turn this down and do a touch off by hitting the down arrow until it touches the material, the torch is going to sense the material and bounce off that material, and it's going to bounce up at a certain height and stay there, and that's going to be basically your cutting height at that point. If I increase it, and I'll increase it relatively drastically so you can see the difference, and do another touch off, the torch is going to touch off and raise up again, but at a higher distance. So that is going to be an adjustment that you will play with. And you definitely are going to want to consult your thermodynamics book for that proper height, cutting height, because it's all going to be relative to the material and amperage that you're cutting with. So the center adjustment here is our pierce delay, and that's going to be how long the torch is going to fire and stay in that position before it moves on. And if you want more of a pierce delay, you're going to increase that number. If you need less of a pierce delay, be it with thinner materials, you would have a shallower number there. The knob here is our pierce height. The pierce height is going to be different than the actual cutting height. The machine might have to get relatively lower to make the pierce, and then it's going to raise back up at the actual cutting height that we have set over here. So this is going to be another location that you will adjust and play with, and it's all going to be relative to the material. In your thermodynamics book, that adjustment is also in there as well. This knob here is your total arc voltage that you're going to be running at. That is also in your thermodynamics book for recommended settings for the material that you'll be cutting, and simply change that value relative to what that book tells you on that material. Those adjustments will stay until you change them. It's all manual. So if you change materials or change consumables, then you will have to make new adjustments. A few more things to mention on the controller. The switch up here is basically the on and off switch for the entire console. This here is turning on your exhaust fans on the table itself, and this just shuts the PLC screen off.